Can you get it? Can you get your shadow? Can you go get it? You can't get it. Oh no, the shadows are chasing you. The shadow's chasing you. What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So I've been wanting to do this series for a while, and here it is, and I'm going to be doing this through Patreon, alright? So let's get started, shall we? So this is going to be the part 1 video of how to survive a Red Dawn situation. Fun stuff. I love these topics. So if you're American, if you like these channels, you like guns, you like that stuff, you're probably familiar with the Red Dawn movies. The original ones with Charlie Sheen and Patrick Swayze, and the ones afterwards was with, what's the guy's name? I don't remember, but he's in a lot of different movies. It's more modern day version of the Red Dawn situation. What Red Dawn means, for those of you that don't know what it is America gets invaded by an occupational force, and a bunch of kids get together and they become a guerrilla force that is fighting off the occupational force to try to rid their city, town area of the bad guys to start their version of freedom. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so first things first, like I said, this is going to be the first video. This is going to be the preparations before it actually happens. My next video, which will be tomorrow, will be the actual situation where you gotta go. All right, so let's get into this. First thing you need to do, you have to pay attention to what's going on in the world. That means current events, military situations, tabloids at the grocery store. Pay attention to what's going on. Every single world war starts with pretty much a very similar thing. One country, one crazy leader, one bad leader wants to start building up forces and wants to conquer the world. So the first thing they start doing is they start pushing out their defenses from their country to the areas that they want to conquer. They start pushing the defenses out, and then they start, well, first they start training in the borders so people see it and they don't think too much of it. Then they start pushing out their defenses from their actual country to their borders and closer to the places that they want to conquer. And then they gather up their forces, put in the airstrikes, and go and they expand and start conquering country after country after country in their area until they get a big enough force that they can actually start building up support lines and start building up their military. And then they make allies, and then they make allies that, hey, I want to do this, I want to conquer the world, why don't you join me? And then the allies come in, and this one country now becomes this one big country, and you're like, holy crap, what do we do now? That's what you got to look for. You got to look for expanding countries with psychotic leaders or crazy leaders, or people that are just psychotic and want war and want to conquer the world. All right, I want to conquer the world people. You got to watch out for them. All right. What would happen in America is if we were attacked by any forces, it would probably be Russian forces to start, or South American forces. I'd say Russian forces because part of Alaska is a 2-mile distance between Russia and Alaska, and the water freezes over every winter, and they travel back and forth. The towns actually travel back and forth and trade with each other, which means an occupational force could come over from there. It's already been, Russia's already trained on the outskirts of Alaska, where people on the American side can watch the Russians training. So you gotta look for that type of stuff, and that stuff exploding and getting more often and more frequent. The next thing that's going to happen is these leaders are going to send out reconnaissance forces to actually start blending in and start building up support lines and gaining intel and all that type of stuff. And then after that, that's when they usually do a big, massive strike on communications and all that other stuff. So occupation is always the same thing. First thing they always do in an occupational force after they've already put their defenses out and everything else, first thing is destroy communication. All right, destroy the communications, which could be EMP strike, could be grid strikes, could be whatever it is, internet strikes, whatever it is. EMP is a real thing, guys. Believe it or not, it's a real thing. Every big military has it. All right, so they'll take out communications. Then they try to break the back of the military by taking on the biggest bases they possibly can, which modern day would be a nuclear strike. But what we do with that, I'm going to do a whole different video on that and how to survive a nuclear attack. All right, so it would be a nuclear strike, mass weapon strike, whatever it is, EMP strike. Take out the biggest sections of the military, break the back of the military. That would be the goal. Break the back of the military, then destroy their support lines so they can't function and they can't supply their troops, so the troops lose heart and they are defeated easier. So that's the first things that they're going to want to do. Okay, so watch for that type of stuff. Okay, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It will take time. It could take a couple of years. It could take months to a couple of years, more likely in a year's thing. So keep an eye on the simple stuff. It may look at something on the tablet, this looks weird, whatever. Pay attention to that crap, all right? Pay attention to it, all right? So that's the first thing you're going to want to look for. The next thing you're going to want to do is build up a support system, okay? So if there is an occupational force that comes in, there's always 3 types of groups that you're going to encounter with the locals. It's going to be the average everyday people that don't care either way or the other, and they're just frustrated and they're just trying to live their lives and survive. You have the guerrillas who are going to take the fight to people, and then you are going to have the guerrilla support lines. So all these pieces. So you have to decide what you're going to be. Are you going to be an average everyday person just trying to go about your life and don't care what happens if they're walking around and capturing people for their re-education camps or their work camps or whatever like that, where they work people to death or starve people and stuff like that? So you could either be those guys, or you could be the guerrillas, which actually takes the fight to the enemy, or it's going to be the support line. Those are people that are blending in, but they have supports, they have contacts, they have supplies, and they're supplying the guerrillas, all right? So you got to decide what you're going to be. And according to that decision, start building up your supplies and your stores accordingly, okay? We're just going to do the 2 types, the support and the guerrilla. If you're other ones, you're probably not going to do anything, and you're screwed. So support and the guerrillas. So support system. First thing first, we'll do the support system. If you're going to be in a support system, you're going to want to build up food, ammunition, weapons, supplies, and you're going to want to have cache areas or cache areas where you can actually direct the guerrilla forces to actually get their stuff. You want to help them out every step you can. Means you have to have the clothing, you have to have the food, you have to have fooding. No, don't play with that. No, I was playing on my tripod. So when it comes to the supply lines, what you are going to want to build up is non-perishable food. Now, you can get MREs if you want, but you got to cut off your arm and a leg to buy them because they're expensive. Or you can do what I do on a daily basis, right here. All right, Chef Boyardee, BPA free. This stuff has a shelf life of 2 to 3 years. I get this at the grocery store, 10 for 10. Every single time I go grocery shopping, I pick this up. 1, my kids love it, and 2, I like having extra supplies in case a situation does happen, all right? So non-perishable foods, that's one thing you're gonna wanna get. I have a meat freezer, okay? And in that meat freezer, I keep 2 weeks of meat and veggies that I can actually go to for 2 weeks. I rarely touch it. I actually probably need to start going through that stuff and refurbishing or refilling it because the stuff's been in there for a while. So you want to have some sort of support or some sort of freezer or something like that. Now, don't get me wrong, if you are attacked, there's going to be no electricity or anything like that, so you're going to lose power, so you're going to want backup energy, whether it's generators or solar power or ice, and throw the ice in the freezer. Then, the other thing that you're going to want is firearms and ammunition. That's everyone's favorite thing to talk about. Woo-hoo-hoo! But if you're going to be a support member, if you're going to be part of the support system, you're probably going to want that stuff cached somewhere, cached somewhere, because if an occupational force does come, one of the things that they're going to do is try to eliminate all threats, find the threats and get rid of them, or lock them up in a camp, which means looking up paperwork on firearms and databases on firearms if they can, coming to your house and taking them and locking you up. That's what they're going to want to do. So you're going to want to cache that stuff somewhere. You can keep it if you want, but once you start seeing the warning signs, you're going to want to set up cache somewhere. Now, let's get into everyone's favorite, the Red Dawn, the guerrillas, the guerrilla forces, Wolverines. All right, so let's get into this. As a Wolverine, we'll just say that, what you're going to want to do, okay, is pretty similar to the support lines. You're going to want to start building up those supplies, the caches, and all that other stuff. You're also going to want to build up firearms, get training with the firearms, teach people, have support systems, create squads or platoons of a support system that if something does happen, you have a designated location where you guys can survive together and build up your forces and then take on the opposition forces. And high chance of dying, but you never know, you might make a difference. So you are going to want to have the same thing as the support system, except you are going to emphasize more on training and tactics. You are going to have bug out locations, which means you have to do recon of the area that you live in. You need to know your area. That's a big one. You have to know your area. You have to know the area you're going to be functioning in, the area you're going to be working in. You have to do recon. You know, every type of situation I've ever been in, when an occupational force is coming, well, even just any force in general, or you're setting up a defense somewhere, you have what we call leaders recon. You have the leaders get together and go out and do reconnaissance. That's right, do reconnaissance, ta-da, of the areas that you're going to be operating out of. Finding defense places where you want to set up defensive positions, or in this type of situation, Red Dawn, cache positions or bug out locations. You're going to want that type of leaders recon where the leaders of the squad and platoon go out in the area. You have to know the area like the back of your hand, and you can't rely on GPS because of the satellite that's out and stuff like that. You're screwed. So you have to have maps, whether it's handwritten or actual maps. Handwrittens I recommend because then you actually use your own personal preference and you actually put everything you can remember, and so you know, and you'll know the area. Leaders recon, we usually do handwritten maps. Okay, that's what we've always done. So you're gonna want to go out there and do a leaders recon. So that are the couple things that you're going to want. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Yeah, good stuff, guerrillas. So as the guerrilla force, you are going to want firearms, and you're going to want ammunition and gear and all that other stuff that other people having. You're going to want these cached in different areas. In these areas, have some available to you and have some cached. Have a plan if something does happen and shit hits the fan, where you can pick up your shit and go to your bug out location where all your other support, your stores are, your supplies, your firearms, whether it's like the Red Dawn where they take over an old mine, old mines or something like that, or the other situations where they just do the recon, they find different areas and put caches in various areas. They have their main base of operations in one area, but they can go to all these other areas and survive if they need to. So you need to have that type of background or that type of planning if you're going to be a guerrilla forces. Now, the ammunition is key. Their guns don't work without ammunition. If you're a guerrilla force, you don't have ammunition, then you're screwed, okay? So you got to have a good amount of ammunition stored. Firearms, you are going to need, very basic, you are going to need pistols, okay? Pistols for up close in-person defense or bugging out to your locations. You need pistols, something that you can use, something that your partners can use, your wife can use, or something like that that's simple, easy, that isn't complicated, that you guys can use. So you're going to want to have those pistols available for you and your spouse so you can get to the location where you need to go or just defend yourselves in general. And as a pistol owner, you should probably carry your gun on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Self-defense is key. Rifles. You are going to need a rifle that has a caliber that can pretty much drop anything in North America that you can eat. You got to know how to clean it and eat it and all that and cook it and stuff like that too. So I would recommend getting yourself a good bolt action rifle. Or if you want, just go with a semi-automatic if you can get it in your area. Bolt action rifle with me, I love 308. It's my favorite caliber. 30-06, whatever caliber you think that would need 700 mag or 7 mag, whatever you want. A big caliber that will drop anything in North America, including two-legged and four-legged, if you catch my drift. So have a bolt rifle, all right, with some sort of optic, good optic, one that you can use. Have it zeroed, ready to go. You're gonna want some sort of semi-automatic rifle. You know, that is for the actual guerrilla tactics and defense, okay? So if you're a guerrilla force, there's going to be two main types of firearms available to you in that. You're going to need an AR-15 patterned rifle, which is what most of North America uses, or you're going to need an AK-47 patterned rifle, which a lot of North America uses, but everyone else in the world uses. So you have, if you're a guerrilla force, you'll have ammunition and other stuff that you can collect along the way so you'll never run out, all right? Parts and all that other stuff. You're going to need that stuff. So you're going to need a good semi-automatic rifle if you have it. Next one, shotguns. I love shotguns. Shotguns are great. Great for home defense, great for hunting. If You name an animal to hunt, a shotgun can take it down. Yeah, buckshot, birdshot, slugs, whatever you have, it will work. I'd recommend 20 to 12 gauge shotgun. 10 gauge too, that's kind of cool. Doesn't work great on turkeys because turkeys just, but anyway, you catch the drift. 10 to 12 or 12 to 20 gauge shotgun is what you're going to want to use. Now, having all this stuff on you is going to be a pain in the ass to carry if you got to bug out. So you can either have this stuff stashed, or you can have it spread out over your squad or fire team, whatever you created. So when you guys are all heading out to your area, you all have the available stuff. And in your bug out location, you're going to want the ammunition for every single one of those rifles and firearms and whatnot. Clothing. If you're wearing clothing on a daily basis, nothing's happened yet, and you expect something to happen, even on a daily basis, wear something that is similar, that can actually blend in partially to your environment. Now, if you're wearing skinny jeans, you're probably not gonna be able to run away very fastly and bug out to a location quickly. You're gonna want something you can move in, something you can breathe in, something you can wear. Now, if you work like an office job or something like that, have it available to you, because you're not gonna freaking, do a 10 to 15 mile hike or hump or a ruck march, whatever you want to call it, with penny wafers on. All right, so you're gonna want that stuff available for you, so keep that stuff in your vehicle. I use some sort of get home bag. This is what I call a get home bag. I keep this in my car on a daily basis. Has 2 liters of water. It's a Camelback that's in there. I have, whoop, you okay? He fell down on Lego. He's all right. You have, I always carry this. That's in there too. This is actually desert night camouflage. It's kind of cool, little jacket, but it's nice and thick, so it's kind of a little bit of a warming layer too. So, and at night, this comes in handy. You can move around, throw it over whatever you're wearing. It's a longer coat. Always have other warming layers in it. Beanies, all right? Stuff fell on the ground here. Shamag. Yeah, Shamag. Let's be a freaking operator. Yeah, operator time. Shamags have a lot of good tools to them, guys. They could look cool like an operator, or you could use it for various things like keeping your warm neck or getting it wet and cooling off the blood in your jugulars while it pushes through your body and cooling your body off. Or you could shove moss in it and crank it until it drips all the water out, which actually helps filter water, all right? Shamag comes in handy. Backup carry ammunition, whatever you're gonna have on your available at the time. I have overnight survival in a bag. This is a kind of a Mylar bag. Okay, Mylar bag, and it has these tablets. These expire. These are iodine tablets. They expire, so keep it on iodine tablets. I always have some sort of basic stuff to get from point A to point B if you need to. Put those in there too. They work great, non-perishable, good stuff. Always have a map. So map of the area that you live in. So you need the maps. You gotta have a map, all right? So maps are good to have. Let's see, all the other stuff. Where is it? Bush knife. Okay. Get some basic bushwhacking skills. This is a Coleman knife. You can get this at Walmart for like 15 bucks if I remember, something like that. This is good. It's lightweight. You can use it to hack up trees if you need to, do basic bushcraft, okay? I have fire starting. Fire. You could use all the fancy stuff, or you can get matches and lighters like I do. Works fine for me. I have a pen, I have a compass, I have first aid in there too. Make your own little first aid kits, all right? They come in handy. You never know when you're gonna need it. Simple band-aids or Neosporin works, all right? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. So that's part 1, preparation for Red Dawn. There you have it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. So this is going to be the part 1 of the Red Dawn. The part 2 is going to be the actual Red Dawn situation where you got to escape. So this is going to be the part 1. Gave you the basics. Guys, if you liked the video, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thanks for supporting me over here at Patreon. Remember, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.